This is Mike Dean, and you're... Oh, I look terrible. Hold on. Much better. All right, now let's get started. You're watching Mike Dean, and this is Mike's Fish Room.
Across the floor in the handle where we drove the drill. A cautious ear to the knife of your confession. Think of all the things we put him through. In the face of his God, would he tell the truth? Still recorded with a...
Good morning, all you beautiful YouTubers. I'm sorry I haven't been on in a few days. It's been a little bit more distance in between the uploads that I like to have. But I've got a quick little update for you guys. We ran into a big issue here in the fish room. Did water changes one night. This was Sunday evening, and was hitting 4 tanks. My 55-gallon Philippine blue tank, and 3 40s that I have anywhere from 120 to 291 fry growing out. Now I know the stocking levels are a little high, but I'm doing daily water changes to keep the parameters in check and to keep the water quality up. So Sunday night I'm doing water changes. Y'all seen my simple routine water change video. Same demonstration, same system. Dechlorinate the water volume with my prime. Start filling the tank. And within seconds, my fish are at the top, gasping for air. Their fins started reddening. The muscle that actually controls the movement for the pectoral muscle, completely bright red. Something was going on. They immediately lost all of their color. And I dumped another cap of prime in. Then I moved down to my bottom tank. I'm thinking, okay, well, I need to watch this 55-gallon. I either have a pH shock or I've got a temperature shock. Something's going on. I moved down to my tank right below it, which consisted of 291 zebras. That's right, 291. I do my water change, and within 2 minutes, they're all dead. Every one of them. Floating at the surface, done. Nothing I can do. I spent the rest of the night really upset with myself, not knowing what was going on. I myself don't have any chlorine test strips. And I myself also have chronic sinusitis, so my sense of smell is not there. The next morning I got up to get a shipment of fish ready to go to New York. I had 9 fish, 5 zebras, 4 marbles going to this gentleman, and like every time I ship, I get fresh tap water, I dechlorinate it. I like the prime to be in there, so you got about 24 hours of detoxification for the ammonia and the nitrite. Because of the issues existing the night prior, I not only dechlorinated it, I shook it, I aerated it, I did everything that I could possible to dechlorinate this water and to make it fish safe. I actually tripled the dosage of prime. After placing 4 marbles in this bag, they went belly up in 30 seconds. That fast. Nothing I could do. I pulled them out immediately, put them back in their quarantine tank where they had been fasting, getting ready for shipment. They were done. At this point, I know what's going on. I know that it's chlorine. I held on to that water, saved it for later, went and bought some chlorine test strips, came back and tested it, and my water levels coming out of my tap were at 10 parts per million. So I called my water company. Well, Mr. Dean, we haven't done anything different in the last few months. We haven't upped our chlorine levels. We'll send a tech out there and we'll try to find out what's going on. Now let me educate everybody on the EPA regulation when it comes to chlorine concentration. The EPA just rose the minimal level from 0.4 parts per million to 0.5 parts per million because of the amoeba virus. They needed to kill this thing. They needed to make sure that the water being delivered to your house was pure. I understand that. I have no problem with that. But the EPA regulates them at 4 parts per million. They are not allowed to go over 4 parts per million due to environmental and safety risks. I was outside getting all my equipment ready because I own a lawn care company, getting the trailer ready, and their tech pulls up. Very nice guy. I have not a foul word to say against this man. I appreciated his honesty, and that will show true. He took a sample of tap right from my faucet, my spigot on the outside of the house. Goes to his truck, and I'm thinking, great, he's going to walk off, do this test, and he's going to come back and tell me nothing's wrong, and he's going to be full of it. Well, I stand corrected, because the guy was very honest. He came back and he showed me the test file. He said, Mike, this is at 8 parts per million. This is not good. I can smell the chlorine coming out of your tap. This is double the amount that we're allowed to have in your water supply. I said, interesting. He goes, you need to talk to so-and-so with blah-blah-blah water company and speak about the reimbursement options with him. I said, okay. Now, granted, I'm not going to bring up names. I'm not going to bring up the company name because I am in the middle of trying to work something out. I don't want to create offense, and I want to work with them as well as they're working with me. As I finish my route for the day, I pull back into the neighborhood, and they've got another tech actually purging the system in our subdivision. He's literally dumping the fire hydrant into our pond. He's chlorinating our pond. The pond which I catch bass, perch, we have all these live turtles, just dumping it for hours into the pond. Now, this technician as well was a very honest person, and I appreciate him. He actually followed me back to the house. He's a fish guy. I showed him the koi ponds. It was pretty cool. He informed me by the time he got to that fire hydrant and started pumping the water, the chlorine levels were at 11 parts per million. Toxic to the human. Any studies that you see done, the last study as I was able to find was done back in 91. And when you try to find people's stances on what chlorine is dangerous, what chlorine concentrations are dangerous, what are acceptable, what's really going to hurt us long term, the argument falls into play that these tests were done at a concentration of 10 parts per million. Seeing as the EPA regulates water companies to keep their roof at 4 parts per million, these tests are kind of null and void. The cancer development that does show in lab rats and all of that is taken with tests done at 10 parts per million. Well, you tell me if it's coming out of my fire hydrant at 11, do we have reasonable concern? So, it's been a long week. I still have an empty tank with no fish and no money reimbursed. And they want to credit my $100 water bill each month. Now, you take 299 fish that died in my fish room from water changes that night, and you put $3 a head on them. Angelfish sell from anywhere from $5 to $7 retail. If I'm wrong, leave a comment below and correct me, please. I know that can be based on variety as well. But for 10 weeks, I pumped food, nutrition, medicine, water treatments, and then countless hours of labor. I won $800 and $900 for my fish. They were 1 week from being able to be sold. And he told me that he thought a couple hundred was reasonable. Not sure I'm digging that. So, that has been the situation that we've been dealing with. Old school fish guy, shout out to you, man. You're awesome. Dig your channel. Appreciate you taking mine and another subscriber's request to do a video on well water versus city water. The main thing that you express in your video is to check your water. Don't trust your water company. It ends up that and this is the story, a chlorine pump failed and started dumping chlorine into the system. Technician told me that they speculate that this chlorine pump failed on Thursday, which runs for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There was no fail-safe. There was nothing to shut the pump off. There was nothing to inform the water company that the chlorine was dumping into the system. I was the one to notify the water company. And I spoke with one of the supervisors on the phone about trying to get reimbursed for my loss. And I said, one concern I've got is when you have a mechanical failure, what notifies you? Well, to be honest with you, we wait for a call. So you wait for someone to have been drinking this crap coming out of the tap. Do you guys realize that the water concentration was more than double that of a chlorinated pool? All of this being said, test your freaking water. Don't trust what's coming out of your tap. All you guys with RO systems, RODI systems, you ain't got to worry about it. But at 11 parts per million, all of that activated carbon, all of those filters bringing out the chlorine and making your water crystal clear, how fast is that going to last when your chlorine levels triple? A little bit of a vent, a little bit of a rant. I've been busting my butt on these fish for months, and I'm ticked off. So it's not going to be something that I'm real happy about. We're still in the current process of working out a deal with the utility company, and I say utility, but they're strictly water. We'll see what happens with it. I'm not expecting it to be an easy process, especially seeing as though my figure's given rose eyebrows. So if anybody has had a treatment plant issue, a water company issue, please leave your comments. I would like to gain some more information, people who have gone through this situation before, whether it has to do with the aquarist hobby, or whether it just has to do with the consumer at home concerned about drinking caca water. So leave your comments, please subscribe. I do have a huge list of videos that I want to put up. This has just been a distracting week, and I wanted to inform you guys where I've been, what I've been doing, what I've been dealing with, and we'll have some new videos up here shortly. This is Mike Dean. You're watching Mike's Fish Room. Thanks for tuning in.
Across the floor in the handle where we drove the drill. A cautious ear to the mouth of your confession. Think of all the things we put him